It's Rick Without the K. James presents In My Opinion Podcast.
Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, as well as the notification bell. Thank you for watching.
Hopefully we don't go on a tangent because there's so many of them. Is one musician that you think shouldn't be famous because they're just garbage. And when I say garbage, I mean like maybe they're a singer, but they can't fucking sing. Maybe they're a rapper, but they really can't rap. Maybe whatever it is that whatever genre they're in, they're just not very good at. And you're like, how the fuck are they famous, right? And I say that because I've got like a list of new rappers where I'm like, who listens to these motherfuckers, right? So I don't even want to start on rap. I think I've made the comment in the past podcast where like Madonna to me, like the bitch is ugly and doesn't have a good voice. Like she must have just sucked a bunch of dick to
But that was the style though back then. That was like ugly people that can't sing in the 80s were popping.
I don't think Madonna's ugly.
You know,
I don't think she's fine.
Right.
she wasn't no Mariah. Like I mentioned that earlier. I said Mariah looks good, has a fat ass, and could sing her ass off.
I never really thought Mariah Carey was all that bad either. You know what
Really?
I'm saying? Yeah, like Toni Braxton.
Yeah.
No, that was
Toni Braxton was bad.
Oh,
Toni Braxton, Adina Howard.
Yeah.
Whitney Houston when she came. Come on, Whitney was
Houston,
beautiful,
she
bro.
always looked-
Before crack,
Right.
Whitney was
She
beautiful.
always looked musty to me. I don't know why.
Whitney?
She had that. It was a very shiny forehead at all
I
times.
never thought she was like. When it comes to like beauty, I have a certain like Whitney Houston. Never
Really, like on.
Dionne Warwick, hideous to me, but I love her music. I shouldn't even say stuff like that, really. But
He loves disco.
but I don't think Madonna's ugly. She just looks like a regular like white, like you see in Target trying to like buy
basic
cat food.
bitch. Like
Basic. But she's so nasty. To me, it's appealing because she's so nasty.
Right. She was
that's
doing
what it
nasty
was,
shit
maybe.
from the get-go.
So I'm gonna listen to you guys, and then I'll tell you because I've already said Madonna. I forgot why I wrote that. I was listening to a song, and I was like, "What the fuck? How is this person even famous?" So D, we're gonna go to you. And you can pick any genre, any person where you're just.
It's tough because there's so many, man. Like, I'm just right now, mentally, I'm going through my son's playlist because me and him do not get along in music at all. Like, the only rapper that we had common ground with was an MF Doom. And I put him on the MF Doom, and he started liking MF Doom. But, like, Lil Yachty, to me, his lyrics are just. I hate to bash an artist though, because like I don't dislike Lil Yachty. I think he actually seems like because I've seen more of Lil Yachty as a personality than his music, but his music just doesn't do nothing for me.
Nothing.
Like I like Lil Yachty as a person. He seems like a cool guy, but his music, bro, it's not it to me. Like it's just, but it's not just him. It's like a whole. It's a whole lot of them.
It's a style. It's a culture now.
Most people whose names begin with Little that aren't Wayne are garbage.
It kind of feels like that.
And I'll just leave it like that. Like,
All right.
Lil Xan. How you feel about Lil Xan?
Garbage.
When he
Little
said that,
tic-tac.
I exactly know exactly who I was thinking of when I wrote it. So before I get to mine,
I'm going to give you one right now. Just I never fucking understood his appeal. I like the movies that he did, but Kevin Costner to me is one of the most overrated actors of all fucking mankind. Really? When has Kevin Costner ever played a role? Here's what Kevin Costner is. Kevin Costner is the Adam Sandler of dramatic roles. Ooh. He ain't nobody new
is he
ever.
better or worse than Nicolas Cage for you?
He's worse than Nicolas Cage.
Really?
He's worse than Nicolas Cage. Kevin Costner in Face Off, that movie would have been asshole. That movie would have been fucking garbage. Thank God it was Nicolas Cage and John Travolta. Kevin Costner has never said a memorable line. He's never had a memorable scene. You know what movies he's in because we know the catalog because he was like a
what
star.
About McFarlane? Come on,
What the fuck is that? I don't even know what the fuck that.
Waterworld, McFarlane. It was about runners and
Tin
shit.
Cup, like every fucking movie. Wyatt Earp, and I love
Dragonfly.
all that shit.
Really?
Any movie that he's ever been in, he's never done anything.
Bodyguard?
Nothing vulnerable. Bodyguard was his most vulnerable shit, and that's because he had to be Whitney Houston's bodyguard. And it was so ridiculous that
And you know, they
that
wrote
woman would
movie
fall in love
because
with
she
him.
was such a bad bitch, right? Like they literally wrote that movie so she could star in it.
There you go. And
so
and Kevin
for-
Costner.
I only say that because you was bagging on her.
No,
and-
Whitney Houston was bad in The Bodyguard.
Yes.
But
There's no fucking way she would have fell in love with Kevin Costner's goofy ass. There's no fucking way. That's what made that movie so
well, maybe
memorable.
if he had crack in his pocket. We don't know.
But Kevin Costner to me is like I never fucking understood his appeal. I never saw his talent, and I've never thought about or memorized or repeated one line from any movie that he was ever in. He's never done shit for me. Never. What can you think of one line, one Kevin Costner great moment?
man, I can't even really honestly name a movie Kevin Costner's been in.
But
I
you know who Kevin Costner is, though.
Yeah, I can see his face. He
Actually, I
makes
like
the same face in every movie. He's
That's
like,
what I'm saying, right? He's
You
fucking-
didn't like him in Highwayman?
No, I didn't like him in anything, bro. And let me tell you something. I love Wyatt Earp and the Wild West and the OK Corral and all that shit. That shit is hella fascinating to me. Tombstone was a phenomenal movie about Wyatt Earp and Doc Holliday and all that shit, right? The fact that Kevin Costner was cast to play Wyatt Earp in the 3.5 hour movie called Wyatt Earp was a fucking disgrace, bro. It was sacrilegious that they had that bum ass, no expression, mayonnaise face looking motherfucker kept playing Wyatt Earp. No reason whatsoever. If I was the Earp family and the Earp estate, I'm calling all my lawyers and I'm like, how dare you?
round up the Earps.
How dare
You know what's even worse is you know he had this one in his pocket because the question was a bad musician and he said actor.
you said any genre. You said any genre.
He said fuck this.
Wyatt
I'm
Earp-
telling you about how much I hate Kevin Costner. Goddamn.
To answer your question, Wyatt Earp. To answer your question, Kevin Costner does not deserve the level of fame and notoriety that he attained just based off of his merits and his acting ability. Just does not deserve it at all. Fuck Kevin Costner.
Okay.
Well, you heard it here first.
All right. When I was writing that question, I was scrolling through TikTok, and I was all, how is this dude even relevant? How was he ever relevant? How?
Ryan Derulo.
No. Rainbow hair, a snitch,
Oh, you know who he is?
and the worst fucking rapper.
Tekashi.
Yes.
sticky on the blicky eye. Sticky, licky, licky eye.
I never really
Oh my God! I'm just like I
Except-
Hard, boy.
I never accepted him as a real person anyway, so it's like he's always
Where-
been like a cartoon to me.
But
Daniel Hernandez?
But
why do we even like?
Because we love weird shit. That pop culture is about what's weird right now. That's the definition of pop culture. What is weird? What is different? What is it that
alternative fucking like
Bruh,
pop
like,
now?
Lil
Like, it's-
Yachty is 50 times better than Tekashi.
Tekashi, bro.
Lil Yachty has some songs I like. I do not like.
And I get some
Tekashi.
people will say, "Oh, well, the beats are," but when you connect that beat with the horrible fucking lyrics that go to it, I'm just like, shut that off. Like it sounds like noise to me. It just sounds like someone screaming.
But
in my fucking
Tekashi
eardrum.
6ix9ine is somebody who actually earned his notoriety because he never signed on a big label and he never did anything the typical way. He did it the way that Too Short and them were talking about doing it back in the 80s and the 90s. Independent. You have to give him credit on that front at least. Yes, he's trash, but you have to give him credit on the fact that he didn't ride the pigtails or he didn't ride the coattails of the major labels and pop culture in general.
I give him where he. I don't know if you guys have seen the documentary or whatever that he it was like a 4 or 6 part documentary
I
on.
would never watch that. But I would.
But it gives you some backside on because I wanted to hear like how he actually ended up in jail or whatever, and it was just bullshit. But part of it, again, I tell people that all the time. If I wanted this podcast to pop off overnight, I know all I'd have to do is get on camera and say how much I hate Mexicans, how much they're murderers and rapists like Trump did, and fucking that's all I gotta do. Because then they'll be like, oh, that's the Mexican that we love. But my integrity for the shit
Right.
would, like, I couldn't do that. I couldn't sell my soul for you to hear what you want me to say. And I felt like that's what he did. He did anything and everything to amuse you, to take your focus and put it on him. And that's where I'm just like, we didn't, like, how stupid do you got to be to, like, he made it so blatant that he was doing that. And
People
you
love
guys
it.
made this motherfucker famous for stupid shit.
Well, I would say this, man. Like, he did ride the coattails, but he wrote the coattails of the culture, of the gang culture. Like, he's a fraudulent gangster, and he's a perfect example of why you shouldn't. He's a perfect example of why you should be who you say you are, because he wasn't who he said he was, and that was his downfall, and that ended up getting him in some trouble that it was too deep for him to get out of.
Yeah.
He got to some gangster shit, and he wasn't a gangster, and he did what non-gangsters do, which is tail. But he was never really a gangster, and that's not just his fault. That's also the fault of the gang that backed him up.
Yeah.
Y'all shouldn't have gave him that power. You just gave a regular dude who was working at Subway or wherever he was working at, Togo's. He was making sandwiches with regular hair.
Right.
And y'all gave him all this power, and he nutted up. And did you ever think for 1 second, like, he's actually calling hits on people? Like, you gave a square dude all this fucking power.
The guy who made the pastrami meatball
And
sandwich.
no disrespect to that gang, all right?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. You always got to, like, put that pre-emphasis on bullshit.
No, I didn't respect the gang. To have a gang and add a dude like that to your gang, and even if he's not really a part of the gang officially, but he is, like, aesthetically or to the
Yeah,
streets,
you got to talk to gang management.
that's still that gang needs an HR person.
Where's Karen when you need him? Where's Karen when you need him?
Exactly.
Gangbanging Karen.
That's your fault too. Like, you shouldn't have had that dude around.
Yeah.
So I think for me, that's why I wrote that question, where I was just like, I can't believe people like this. Like, because I get it.
Oh, they exist.
I have conversations with my best friend all the time where he's like, bro, you know what you're not doing on the podcast, and you're not being, and I'm like, dude, I know what you want me to do, but I'm not going to do that, because I'd rather take years to be successful at it and have my integrity there than fucking just.
Yeah.
Then
That's
just-
right. Years. We gonna take
Well,
years.
I'm already in my third year, goddamn.
Rick is
So,
gonna be doing
we're done
this shit.
waiting. We're done waiting.
forever.
We're done waiting. If you want to
For
subscribe,
me
now's the
now.
time to do it,
Because
motherfuckers.
he got
Right?
integrity, y'all.
But
Integrity.
because I say that shit like about Candace Owen,
Right.
Where I'm like, dude, I understand why she is
She's
fucking,
trash.
why she is famous, but I personally couldn't do what she does. Like, I get it. You exactly say what white people want you to say, bro. Like, so
And she's capitalized on that.
yeah, of course. And I guess for her it's worth it, but for me, I couldn't do that. I couldn't. As much as I talk shit about Latinos and shit, it's from a loving perspective, and it's not from I think we're the hardest working motherfuckers out there doing shit. You know, I see both sides of every
Tekashi
story.
is Latino.
Latino, bro.
That's why
Yeah.
he works so hard at being fake. He works hard at it, though. You know what I'm saying?
He set it up and he spiked it down.
I'm gonna be the
Shit.
fakest fake motherfucker around.
That motherfucker.
He ain't gonna out-fake
Well, he
me.
ain't Latino in my book, goddammit, all right?
he's half Mexican, man.
Yeah, if we was doing that Dave Chappelle skit, the white people can have him. Yeah, yeah.
No, they do not want him. They don't want him.
Shade him in the draft.
Yeah. The racial draft, yeah, you guys can have.
We'll take the white guy from Blood In, Blood Out, and we'll trade you. We'll trade Miklo. You guys can have Tekashi 6ix9ine.
Tekashi for Miklo?
I'll take it.
Oh, man.
I'll take that shit in a heartbeat. I know Miklo's not in his prime anymore. He's on the back end of his career, but I'll take him. Come on.
And the camera cuts to Miklo like, yeah.
James, that's the one you think the comedian Rick James. Get up.
I can't hear my neighbor crying, I can't breathe.
Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, as well as the notification bell. Thank you for watching.